Hello, friends. Here we are again. This is so exciting. I am so glad to welcome you to today's live. My name is Christy Rice, and I am watercolor obsessed, friends. Just to give you some housekeeping stuff, we're going to be painting. We're going to be, I love this time of year. And if you were watching this on replay at a different time of year and it's not the holidays anymore, number one, I apologize for my ridiculous excitement. Number two, don't worry, because there's going to be lots to learn coming up, so stick with us. So friends, just making sure you can hear me. I see many of you. Charlotte, hello. Hello. Denise, so glad you're here. Hello, we have Becky. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, so just give me a shout out. The sound is good. You can hear me okay, and we're going to get right to it. So I am going to teach you. I hear you. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Jeanette. I am going to teach you how to paint pansies today. We might get into some patterns. It's going to be kind of a mixed media situation. I am, of course, watercolor obsessed, but I'm also going to be painting on ceramic discs today. Yes, I'm painting ornaments. And so I have to approach the whole watercolor thing from a little bit of a different avenue, so to speak. So a couple of things. Make sure you're asking questions. We have Kelly on comments today from my team. Kelly, say hello in comments, and Kelly will be addressing anything that comes up that I'm not like paying attention to because I got my head down and I'm painting. So hello, Kim. You're watching from New Mexico and you can hear me fine. That's awesome. Hi, Monique. Hello, hello. Hello, Wearing Stones. Jennifer. Yes, say hello to Kelly. All right, let's get right to it. I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera around because you are probably okay and done seeing my face. Let's take a looky-loo at painting. All right, friends. All right. So let's just go over some supplies. And here's the thing. Don't feel like you need to be running around wherever you are right now, getting all the supplies to match mine, because honestly, that's going to be hard. So I have some paper here. I've got Academy watercolor paper, cold press. Use what you have, use what you love. I've got my Art for Joy's Sake watercolor palette because I'm obsessed. Can't deny it. I have a couple of other things. Here are the ornaments I'm going to be painting on. And friends, I got to tell you, the ornaments, we've been doing this for a few years where I go live and I paint these ornaments. And yeah, I was talking with Kelly before we went live and she's like, it's so cool that you do this every year. So friends, I will be selling these ornaments. And again, for those on Team Replay, if you are watching this like a year from now or 6 months from now, the ornaments are probably gone, but head to christyrice.com anyway. But these are going to be for sale, for gifting, for yourself. If you've wanted to have a piece of my artwork, now is your chance, because this is going to be an original. You're going to literally watch me paint it. And then later on today, it's going to be up and available for sale on christyrice.com. Kelly will go ahead and put up a QR code for the specific page that you can visit later on today. And honestly, and that is my chair creaking. I apologize. A girl needs to get a new chair, but you're going to hear that throughout the live. So get that QR code up there, Kelly, so folks can see it. If they are interested, they can take a screenshot, and you'll just head to christyrice.com at that QR code and go to holiday, and you will find the ornaments later on today. Oh, there we go. There's the specific URL for that. So friends, hello from Norway. Hello, hello. Monique, Kim, Julie, howdy. Carol, oh my gosh, I love seeing you all here. Thank you so much. This is fantastic. So, okay, back to supplies. I've got some bleed-proof white. I also have some gesso, which is basically acrylic, friends. Gesso is slightly more, it's got some tooth to it, so it really sticks to things, and gesso is a great way to get the watercolor to kind of attach to this porcelain, which I'm excited about. These ornaments will be painted raw right on the surface. It's fantastic. I've been doing it for years. And then they are finished with a poly, a non-yellowing poly finish It's a matte finish. It's gorgeous. And then I do hand watercolored ribbon for each one. You'll be seeing that process. Really fun. Yeah. So let me see. Any other supplies? I've got my little embroidery scissors, and we're going to get into it. So first up, I'm going to have Kelly go ahead and put that up on the screen. We're going to be working on some pansies, friends. And I absolutely adore pansies. My Aunt Susie. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this while I tell you about my Aunt Susie. This is the pansy I'll be working from. And this is the one I will be teaching. And so my Aunt Susie loves pansies. And the first year I did the live ornament painting, I had an extra pansy ornament and I gave it to her, and she just cherishes it and she talks about it every year, and I just love it. It's so fun. So anywho, all right, let's get into it. So I do have my palette. I sprayed it down about 10 minutes ago, but I am going to go ahead and spray it again. We have a question. Do you make your own gesso? I do not. I wouldn't even know how to do that, to be quite honest. I wouldn't have a clue. I use Liquitex gesso that I have just found to be perfect over the years. Let me see. Is that air dried clay with a base, or are they gessoed? This is just the clay. I don't believe it's air dried. I believe it is. It's kiln dried, and there's no gesso down here first. None. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab my 1/4-inch dagger from the Art for Joy's Sake brush collection, and we're going to get going here. Where did my mouse go? You can just hear me jabbering along as I'm painting here and trying to figure out myself. All right, friends, here we go. All right, so if you want, you might want to get a little watercolor. And here's the thing, friends, I want to make sure you understand. Everything that I'm going to teach today is going to apply to paper as well, right? Everything's going to apply to paper as well. So if you are painting along with me on paper, which I presume most of you are, this will all apply, especially if you're wanting to start to explore mixed media. I'm going to bring this down a little bit so you can really see this ornament. Here we go. All right. So let's see. Friends, I just need to ask, I'm not echoing, am I? I just want to make sure that sound is good. And I'm doing just some, I'm not outlining, I'm not drawing with my brush. I'm just making some simple strokes to kind of fill the space here with a base of purple. And that purple is already kind of starting to absorb into the clay, into the porcelain. Here we go. Now, same thing applies, wet on wet. I'm going to go in with a really bright blue direct from my palette, and I'm going to dab it in and push it from the center out towards the edges. See how I'm pushing that color? I'm going to reload. I'm just going to go with the blue because I want it to be really strong, and I'm going to push, push, push. This down, these petals down here are already drying a little bit. It's okay. Watch what I'm going to do down here where it's really drying. I'm going to push, push, push. I'm going to rinse my brush, blot it a little, and then push back with a wet brush on those areas that didn't blend as easily. Look at that. It re-wet. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that so much. Love it. I want to zoom in even more, friends. I'm going to zoom. I'm going to get in here so we can really see this situation. I'm going to move this paper. And if you are on Team Replay and you are watching this on the replay, I would love to hear your questions as well. I do my very best to answer any and all questions, friends. So please go ahead into comments. Any little thing that I'm doing here, maybe you're confused, maybe you don't understand what I did or why I did it. I want to hear from you. I'm going to go ahead, press, drag slowly, and lift right off the edge of that ornament. I'm going to do that again, but I want to get a little bit of blue on the tip of my brush. I have the pointed edge of this facing inward. Press, drag, lift, go right off the edge. Isn't that pretty? press, drag, and lift. Ooh, love it. Rinse. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here, friends. Is the standard water pot coming back from the shop anytime? Kelly might know the answer to that question. Kelly, if you could respond. I think we've already worked on getting some more in the works and produced. I just don't know of an exact release for that. So Kelly can go ahead and maybe get that information from our shop manager, Kristen. I'm going right into the center here and just dabbing a little bit of yellow. And then I'm also going to grab a little bit of the gesso, and I'm going to dab that in as well, just to lighten. And then I feel like I want to grab a little bit. I'm going to rinse my brush really well. Is that the small dagger you're using? I'm on my phone rather than the TV. Sorry. No worries. This is my 1/4-inch dagger. It is my smallest dagger available right now. I do have a smaller dagger coming early next year. So excited about that. I'm going to rinse my brush and grab, you don't want to contaminate your palette with that gesso. I'm going to grab a little bit of the purple with a clean brush from my palette and mix it into the gesso. Just joined. How do you prep the ornament? I do not prep the ornament for watercolor. I just get in there. These are like a bisque, kind of like a bisqueware. I feel like I don't know enough about ceramics. But these are super strong, and they're not air dried, but they're also not like finish fired, whatever that is called. I'm not sure, but no prep required on these. No prep required. Okay, so I just added a little bit of gesso in there. I'm getting some wooden slices. Would you use watercolor grant? Yes, I did wooden slices last year. I do have a video on the channel here about it. Kelly might be able to find that video and put the link in comments. But with the wood slices, I did do a watercolor ground. Absolutely. But I have found this particular base to just be lovely for watercolor. So no ground required. All right, I'm going up in here, up into this petal, and I'm going to start adding some detail with the very tip of my brush, just very lightly to get some very thin linear details. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in another pansy. I'm going to switch up the color a little bit, just add more blue into my original purple mixture, and go ahead and start popping a little extra pansy back here, peeking out from behind the original. So you're not going to see, you see about a little more than 1/3 of this one. All right. And then let's get some more purple back in here. I'm rinsing my brush to add some of this fuchsia from my palette. And let's see, what do I want to do here? Love it. I'm just going to add another little hint here. So I think what I want is this lovely here. I'm going to make her a little bit bigger for her to be the focal. And then we're just going to start adding some leaves, additional leaves. So a press and a wiggle 2 times over right next door to one another. And then I'm going to dab in some blue, stroke in some blue. But that wiggle gives us that nice kind of curvy leaf edge. I'm going to go down here and widen this leaf. And I'm going to also go here as my paint is running out and widen that leaf. And look at that gorgeous effect you get when you go in afterwards. Oh, I love that. Love that. All right, Kelly just popped up the wood ornament video for anyone interested. Take a look at that. Kelly is coming up as Paint Crush with Christy Rice, if you're wondering. And so you're not looking for comments from Kelly. Serendipity Soul Fluid Art with Jan Trent says, I also want to thank you for your tutorials on how to hold your brush and practice with strokes. Well, I'm so glad that was helpful to you. I really am. Over the years, I realized that I do things a little different, and I'm like, it's sometimes interesting process for me to realize that and also figure out how to teach it. So when I do finally put a video out there about some of my technique, I'm grateful to hear and know that it's been helpful. So I thank you for that very much. I'm just continuing to add some depth here, and soon I'm going to go in and start detailing this pansy quite a lot. And see, I dropped a little water in there, but I'm not super worried about it. I'm just going to grab with a dry brush and blend it out and blot and blend it back out. And I've pretty much lifted that water droplet out of there. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, super. Let's add a few more leaves here. I'm just thinking about composition, press, drag, and lift. This time I'm going from the edge in towards the flower, press, drag, and lift. It's very watery. I'm literally just, let me see if I can get my palette in on screen here. I'm literally just, there we go. That's a better. That's a better. Now we got the whole thing in there. I'm grabbing just some watery color that's already kind of existing on my palette. There we go. And going in with that, I want some of these areas to be more washy and faded and that kind of thing. And then we're going to put a really strong background in here soon. But I'm going in for some linear detail, friends, with my liner brush. I actually want this to dry just a skosh. Let me know in comments who is painting along on paper. I would love to know if you are. And while this is drying, I want to show you a little something that we came up with for holiday. This is our, I think, 3rd or 4th year. We have a calendar available. And so it's different flowers for each month. I'm really excited about it. I love this so much. And so here is what she's looking like. And this is hand painted. You can see this is detailed with shimmer inks. This is also, again, available in our holiday shop. Kelly, there we go. Kelly has that link. Kelly, if you could put up, there we go. She's got it. She's got it. That's the specific link for our holiday shop. So friends, I am not a natural salesperson. And again, if you're on Team Replay, I do hope you stick with me because I won't be selling for too long. Let's see. We've got, oh yeah, gold for the holidays. I might just, Monique is painting along. Are you going to add some gold for the holidays? I just might. Yeah, I knew Kelly was going to put that up. All right, here is January. Anyway, but if you're Team Replay, just stick with us. Bear with me. You know, we're a small business and it's the holidays when this live is happening. So gotta tell everybody what we've got. Look at March. I love March with the blue roses and the delphinium, and April. So friends, this also comes with the option of a little easel. So it's really awesome for gift giving. So there is May, irises. Oh, look at that. Poppies and sunflowers for June. You can follow that QR code that you can scan from right there, and it's going to take you right to the shop if you're interested in picking any of these up for gifts, friends. Oh, the cactus and little hellebore for August. Love that. More poppies, my favorite flowers for September. October, we've got some dahlias. November, this is Kelly's favorite. Kelly loves her hydrangea. And December is just some beautiful, moody roses and greenery. Love this. Yes. I see some questions here. Let me see. Oh, yay. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Yeah, definitely cute examples to paint. I think so. All right, friends, I think this should be dry enough. Let's take a look here. And I'm going to get into the details. So the glasses are coming off because I am that old that the glasses have got to come off when I'm starting to paint detail. All right, let's get into it. I am going to load up right from the palette. My palette is sprayed down from before, still nice and juicy, as I call it. And I'm going to just see what the consistency here is. When you want to get a nice crisp line with a liner brush, or any brush for that matter, you're going to want about 60% pigment or paint to be super technical on your brush. Pigment's not the same as paint. And about 40% water. And you can see that gorgeous, crisp line that you get when you do just that. All right, and then I'm gonna do some linear moments over here. Some of these lines I'm going kind of wiggly. Look at that, isn't that pretty? So pretty. I'm realizing quickly, and this is where the mixed media aspect of this comes into play, friends, that is so lovely. I need more yellow. My yellow center is not large enough, and I realize that quickly. Now remember, if you're working with me and you're using acrylic, make sure you don't contaminate your palette. You don't cross-contaminate. So I do a lot of rinsing. So I'm mixing up a really light yellow here in my little palette. And I'm going to go ahead in there and extend this yellow. And because this is opaque, I can do just that. All right. Gonna let that dry a little bit. I want to go ahead and get this background in, friends. And I'm just checking for questions. Oh, yes. Kelly Wearing Stones is asking for just a direct link. If you could reply and get her a link. She doesn't want to, honestly, we get so many questions on the QR codes, and it wasn't until like a year ago that I really knew how to use a QR code, so don't feel bad. All right, we're going to get in here, and we're going to start to put in a background. And friends, I just want to comment on something, and I teach to this a lot. Every painting that you do, you're going to go through that ugly phase. You're going to go through that phase where everything is in progress and nothing feels good, nothing feels done. And that's where we're at right now. I have a white paint pen. Will that work for details? It will on paper. It would be tricky if you were going on some type of, ornament like clay or something like that. It'd be more tricky. You'd have to do some testing. Just so you're aware, I loaded up my brush direct from the palette. I went blue, purple, green, literally. I have a video about how I use my palettes. Clearly, I don't clean my palettes, and I do dip in multiple pans at a time, and it's just a thing I do. And then I'm going to go in and dot in some of that super heavy color into areas here. And then I'm going to rinse and dab my brush on paper towel and go ahead and start to spread that color around. Got too much color in that background, and so I'm dabbing on a paper towel, and I'm literally now dragging that color around, and I'm taking it right to the edge of the ornament. And I'm going to go up here and do the same. Too much pigment on that ornament, so I'm rinsing my brush, and I'm gonna just spread it out and dab on a paper towel, going right out to the edge. I want some added depth here. Now this is all wet, so we can dab in some additional color, wet on wet, take our opportunity to define the areas that this new background I'm developing here is touching. See how I'm editing the shape of that leaf so easily now. Same thing with this leaf. I can go in and cut right in, get some darker blue on my brush, and make it even more striking and contrasty. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that so much. Friends, I've been looking down quite a bit, so if Kelly's popping up questions, I probably missed them. So ask them again. And hopefully I will not be looking down again when you ask them. I'm going in, and I'm just going to continue this kind of approach to finish the background. Well, certainly not finish. This is our base layer. Friends, when I say these ornaments are one of a kind and truly little mini works of art, it's just no joke. It's crazy how many brush strokes go into this little, Kelly, what are these? 3.5 inches round, I believe. And like just thousands of brush strokes. It's crazy. This one, I'm going pretty heavy. What I love about watercolor, is that it can become super opaque. Even the sheerest watercolor that you use, and my particular watercolor set by no means is very crazily sheer. I have a lot of opaque, more opaque pigments in my set. But even the sheerest watercolor set that you might own, if mixed with the a certain amount of water, it can become really opaque. And that's what I love so much about watercolor. So much. It's just, it's like a little chameleon. So I mentioned before, like painting through those ugly phases, painting through those phases that feel so all over the place and so messy. But remaining confident and kind of steadfast in a way through those, knowing that it is a process. And I think that is one of the most important things to learn on this watercolor journey is to be super understanding and kind to yourself during those phases of your work, which is really hard for beginners, because when you're a beginner, you don't really know, is this just looking the way it is because I don't know what I'm doing, or is it just because it's too early to judge? So I get it. Oh, thank you, Bobby. Thank you so much. All right, and I am filling in the last bits here with this first layer, and then this ornament will be, the first layer of this particular ornament will be good to go. And let's see here. I'm probably going to let this dry and come back to it. Lots that I want to do to this one, but I do need this to dry a little bit. Friends, remember that these will be for sale. So if you have a really special gift to give, this will be it. I'm also going to be dropping some original pieces. It's basically what I call like a studio drop. Pieces that you've seen me paint over the last year in my tutorials. What I'm going to be doing in the next 2 weeks during these lives, I'm going to be finishing some of those paintings, teaching you about the thought process of finishing a painting and what goes into that, but actually finishing the pieces and then making them available for sale, which I'm super jazzed about. I love being able to drop originals into the shop. I only do it about once a year. So that is coming up too. So yeah, I'm going to start another pansy here. Are there peach pansies? Today there are. I'm going to do like a rusty peach situation here. I'm going to go a little bigger on this one. Some red and pink. I'm immediately going in with this darker moment here immediately. And then I'm going to drop it into those peach areas. That's kind of fun. You do you, friends. I was feeling like I wanted to bring peach into this. I know there's like those rusty pansies, but I really felt like the peach was talking to me on my palette. And so I'm going for it, right? I'm going for it, because why not? What does a pansy bud look like? Like, you know, when they first start, I want to do a little something over here that I think feels like a bud. A little, so I just literally took that kind of terracotta pinky mauvey color and use it as a base for some buds here. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop in some red and some brown. I don't often use brown. Ooh, now, I spattered this bad boy on accident, but you know what? It's going to be a little bud. See? Happy accidents. Roll with the artistic, creative punches, my friends. Just deal with it. Stuff happens, and you got to just roll with those punches. Kelly says the pot, the the standard pot without the flowers and all the bells and whistles will be back at the beginning of next year. Yes, happy accidents. Thank you, Mr. Bob Ross, for coining that most incredible phrase. Can I tell you a secret? For years, I thought my art teacher, Sue Hand, yes, my art teacher growing up, Yes, her name was Sue Hand. How serendipitous, right? Press, drag, and lift here, friends, with a few leaves. Now, I did just do a few light-handed swipes. I'm going to show you on a paper what I did. And I'm not even using a liner brush, but with the tip of that dagger, you can get the most light. You have to kind of figure out your pressure, but look at these light, thin strokes that you can get that you then can turn into stem, press, drag, and lift, a little twist. You guys watched the video recently where I show you the little twist to the hand. Kelly, there's a video, the thumbnail is Don't Ignore This. If you could go ahead and pop up the URL to that video, that is the video I talk about twisting the brush between your fingers. Kelly's going to go ahead and pop that up if you haven't seen it. Could you wipe off the spatter with a clean, wet brush from this ornament? Yes, you could. With the level of paint that I spattered on there accidentally, it would have been very difficult. So I chose to not do that. It would have, because it was so concentrated. Now I'm flooding this area with some water, and I will finish answering that question to blend this rusty color a little bit. Flood, 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 scrub, scrub, scrub. Very light touch here, friends. I just want that to blend more. Anywho, but yes, you could try that. Better yet is to blot it first if you were using something like a ceramic, and then add some very clean water on top of it and do a little lifting. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Love it. Serendipity. Hello from Belgium. Hello, hello, hello. So glad you're here. We are painting pansies today. I know it said pansies and patterns. We'll see if we get to patterns. I don't know. I'm feeling pansies. I am feeling pansies. This pansy is definitely going to be decidedly more loosey-goosey. I'm going to let this dry and bring this bad boy back. All right. I'm just going to rearrange here. I want to make sure y'all can see. I'm going to move that. You're watching on Team Replay. What are your questions? What are you thinking as you're watching me paint? What's confusing? What is like, Chrissy, what in the world? Why did you do that? That was strange. Like, there are no bad questions. There are no embarrassing questions here. So ask away. Thank you, Kelly, for popping up that link. The ornaments, Tanisha, were not prepared at all. I've been doing these for 4 years now, and there's no special preparation. Thank you, Joni. Yeah, makes it easy. Mary, I see your question. What is the surface texture? It's quite, this is my little practice with different materials. Let me see if you can hear that. It's quite textured, but it does lovely. It really does. I cannot complain one bit with how it takes watercolor. I actually look forward to painting these every year because of how it takes watercolor. All right, let's get in here with some really dark bluish indigo-y kind of purple. You like that specificity of that color, bluish indigo-y? Yeah, gotta love me. I have a way with words. Wouldn't you say? You can paint on the reverse side. Definitely. The reverse side of this particular ornament is a little more concave. It kind of curves like a bowl. I think I said that correctly. So just something to keep in mind. A little bit of brown and a little bit of purple and green. Not a lot of water here at all, friends. This paint texture right now is like syrup. Look at that. All right, we're going to go into these leaves. I love this leaf just as she is. I'm not going to touch her, most likely. And just a light touch right down the middle. And then coming out from the middle, following the curve. of that leaf, natural curve of the silhouette. Look at that. So pretty. Friends, hopefully you were on, I said I wasn't going to touch this, but I lied. I just wanted to accent that gorgeous crisp line there. And so she did. Going in with the color just on my brush into the gesso mixing plate here. And I'm going to define this little lovely. It needs to be lighter. Bring in some more white. Twirling my brush to kind of get it nice and even. And then go right down the middle and continue that technique. You need to add a little water to get it to glide. You don't want to feel too much of a drag. So pretty. Thank you. Bisque ceramic, yes. And then, I don't know, I kind of like that. Now I want to see and talk to yourself, friends. Who here who's watching, who talks to themselves? Please tell me there's others, because I don't know. Y'all, I talk to myself like it's my job when I'm painting. It's kind of hysterical in so many ways. So please give me a yes, I talk to myself, or I guess a no, you crazy. I want to hear. So friends, I went in with a heavier hand and added some linear moments to this. And then while it was wet, I went back in with that syrupy dark color on my liner brush and went right over top. And now all those lines are diffusing softly. Just lovely. So pretty. Okay. I am talking myself through this. What do I want to do? My brush is clean-ish. I'm going to go in and just add some white moments to brighten up this center. Just dots. There aren't dots in my inspiration image, but it's actually not coming through as dots. It's just texture and brightness. Love that. And then I'm going to go up to this leaf. She's light. And I'm going to do some white on this. Just pure white. And I'm going to keep those lines further apart and not as thin. See that? See where we're going with this? So pretty. She pretty. All right. It's like a pansy iris hybrid until I do this. I love going outside the lines, friends, to just make things. See how I'm doing that? I'm starting to make this pansy, all these other petals a little bit bigger by taking that linear detail right outside the original bounding of the shapes I originally made. Press harder for a thicker linear detail. Press lighter for a thinner. There she goes. I'm dipping into a little bit of that white, but it's mixing to make not white. Make sure you can still see what I'm doing here. And I'm just, whatever's still on my brush and carrying it over into this other petal and letting it run out. Just let her run out. All right. I'm going to grab my #2 round from the Art for Joy's Sake brush collection. If you have yet to pick up my brush and you're curious, Kelly can go ahead and pop up that code for that brush. And that is still available on Amazon, or if you're thinking about gifts, it's kind of the perfect gift for someone who is got a budding interest in watercolor. So I'm going in here where this leaf meets the pansy, and I am just darkening right at that intersection to create some drama. And I'm just dabbing. Now that that area is wet again, I'm dabbing slowly. And see how that's creating some depth there. Love it. I'm going to go ahead and add in that dark center finally. Is it mixing to make not white because it's still wet, or it's reactivating the color? It's not reactivating the color too much. There might be a little bit of that going on, but I actually mixed a lighter, like greenish blue over here and had that on my brush. So that's actually what you're seeing. But really good question. Because we are in mixed media land here, friends. I'm going in with a slightly darker green in between those white lines and just adding some depth there and detail. And I'm going to go into these nooks and crannies where these background pansy moments, and I think I'm going to leave these background pansy moments kind of washy and dreamy, but look how this color will reactivate just like it would on your paper. I'm getting more of a nice blend in there. It reactivates beautifully. All right, going in with that dark syrupy color that I mixed up earlier. Kim, the ornaments, this is my first day painting ornaments, Kim. So you will see them available starting early evening today for the next 2 weeks. Each ornament that I paint and any that I paint not live, I will be painting some of these just kind of like in my own time and surprise you with them. They will be made available, but you're not going to see the first ornaments for sale until today, sometime after 5 p.m. Eastern. So, but thank you so much for looking, and I appreciate it so much. So let me, friends, tell you a little bit about, if you're new here or if you've just been watching my tutorials, I do want to explain a little bit about me, and so you understand like why I'm here trying to sell things, because I don't do the selling thing often, right? And if you are on Team Replay, I think this might be a nice story for you to hear too, as I'm adding in this depth and darkness. I think it'd be a nice story. And I'm glad, Mary, I appreciate you so much. You basically only use your Art for Joystick brushes anymore. You held out a few, but put everything else away. And I cannot tell you what an honor that is to hear. So I appreciate that so much. So friends, I started my entrepreneurial journey as an artist with a business that I named Momental Designs. Some of you know about it. It is still alive and well. It's a wedding stationery design business based originally in my artwork, but over the years, our team has grown. At times, it feels exponentially grown. And we now have a team of, well, it's anywhere from like 7 to 11, depending on the time of year. Friends, I am mixing some light blue with some gesso over here on the side. I'm going light purple, and I'm still using that number 2 brush from the Art for Joystick collection. Yes, Bobby, they do. We are still in stock. Our stock is getting low on the brushes, but they are there. And I'm just going to continue editing the shape of these petals a little bit. Isn't that so lovely that we can do that with mixed media? When you first go from watercolor to a mixed media like a gesso or a gouache or acrylic, it can be startling and then extremely freeing, because you no longer are constrained by the light to dark stuff anymore, right? I love that. All right, I'm going to let her breathe for a few moments. I'm going to come back to this bad boy. So Momental Designs was begun in 2003 officially. Friends, I'm mixing up a really syrupy, juicy, rusty color here. So more paint than water. Getting that on my liner brush, and I'm going to just go in, follow the contours, and really kind of get wild with the linear moments here, because it's my thing. I love doing it. Anyhow, started Momental Designs. I don't know what I thought Momental Designs would become, but within 5 years, we were in wedding magazines and all the things, and the business was growing like crazy, and I was hiring people. And Kelly has been with me. Kelly, how long have you been with me? Go ahead and tell them in comments. Gosh, 10 years? I don't know. I feel like it's been forever. She actually is a dear friend of mine, not just an employee. She's incredible. So anywho, all of the things that I do here on YouTube with watercolor also really helps support my team. My team is full-time. We do not, lay people off when it's off season in the wedding season. So everything that I do on my channel, I am really proud of supporting a team of incredibly talented and creative women. That's one of the surprising joys of my career. I thought it was all about me. I was young and just starting out, and I'm like, I'm the artist, yay, whatever. But the reality of it is that I've been able to support the art careers of other women, and that makes me feel very proud. And so the efforts support not just me and my beautiful little family, but right now the families of 7 other women full-time. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your incredible support. Incredible. Going really loosey-goosey with this one. 14 years. Kelly, I'm sorry. I'm so bad. I feel like I don't remember. I shortchanged you on those years. I shortchanged you so bad. I'm gonna have a text waiting for me after this live, and it's gonna be something along the lines of, Christy Rice, how could you not remember how long I've worked for you? Can I tell you a story, friends, about Kelly? I got married in 2000, and Kelly, how old were you? You helped me paint the aisle runner. Of course, y'all, I had a hand-painted aisle runner, for goodness sake. And Kelly helped me paint my wedding aisle runner. That's how long I've known Kelly. How crazy is that? I just love it. Just love it. So funny. Anywho, I'm going in, getting crazy with the background. I'm going in, basically this is wet on dry, and I am just, I've got a decent amount of water and not a lot of pigment on my brush. And I'm just getting this color in and going and spreading it around. Now, just like with paper, you got to move fast, y'all. You got to move fast. I don't know why I say y'all. I have Southern roots. I don't know. I've always said y'all. It's really weird. And I'm from Pennsylvania, so who knows? I do have family in the South. A lot of family in the South. Anywho, got to move fast. You got to keep that wet edge. So right now, this is a wet edge and this is a wet edge, but they're both drying, let me tell you. See, this one's already drying. I have to scrub it out with water on my brush. This edge already drying. This edge, guarantee she's dry. You got to move. You got to move with these kind of backgrounds. And of course, these stressful backgrounds are my favorite kind of backgrounds, but you got to move. So here I go. Getting her done. Going right over the edge here. Friends, again, these ornaments are going to be available. Today is the first day of ornament painting. If you are learning, if you are feeling the groove, if you are creatively inspired, could you give me a heck yes in comments right now? Even Team Replay, give me a heck yes. I want to know that I'm reaching you, that you're hearing me, that you're feeling the love as I finish out this first layer of the background here. Tell me. I don't even know what time it is. I also don't even care. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, I really like this. Oh, thank you, Tammy. That is true friendship, right? Oh, we've got 2 Tammys back to back. You were 15 when we first met? 15? Kelly. Oh my gosh. Insane. Yes, 15. That actually makes sense now that my old brain's thinking back. Anywho. So these ornaments will be available. I will be finishing these up offline. So the final product will be a little bit of a surprise, which I think is actually cool. So I'm going to let these dry so I can keep going on those. And this is something to be said for paper as well. Kelly, could you go ahead and pop up that QR code for the holiday page? Folks, just take a screenshot of this or take a photo of it. Literally, you could take a photo if you're watching on TV and you can access it later, or just know that you go to christyrice.com, click on holiday, and you're going to be able, starting around dinner time, Eastern time, I'm going to be uploading at least 3 ornaments this evening for sale. And once they're gone, and they're little originals. And I always say, these are the type of ornaments that you leave up year round. I have certain ornaments that aren't super like over the top holiday-y that I leave up all the time. Kim, Marley, Bobby, Sama, I see your love. Heck yeses. Thank you. I appreciate it. So go ahead and take a picture of that. These will be available. Pricing is determined right as I finish them because it's hard to know how much is going to go into these as I'm working on them right now. So, and also note that the calendar, this year's calendar, is available as well. And all our other holiday offerings. Some of our ceramics are still left. There are very limited quantities of our painter's pots and our brush rests and things like that. Very limited quantities, but there's still some hanging about. So you can check those out. All right. Let's see. Any requests? I know today was supposed to be all about pansies, but anybody have a request for ornament number 3 today? I'm trying to figure out which side is the right side on this one. It's this. Any requests? Go ahead and give me your request. While you do, I'm going to go take a drink because I'm starting to lose my voice. Oh, and you hear my chair creaking. Ooh. You should have a tutorial on what to do with that calendar art after the month is over. Oh, that is such a good idea, Madeline. Ooh, I need to do that because there are things. Oh, I have like 5 ideas already that just popped into my head. And yes, I'm doing that. Friends, I'm doing that. I'm actually going to film that. I'm going to start filming that today. Thank you. Thank you for the idea. Kelly, let's do a giveaway while I'm waiting for requests on this next ornament. I've got Lily. I've got a rose. Friends, a lot of exciting stuff happening right now. But while we're gonna do a giveaway, so hang out. We're gonna do a giveaway. We're gonna give away a copy of my new book that's coming out next Tuesday. Honestly, Amazon's kind of weird. I think some people have already gotten their book. I think Amazon had like some stock of it and like launched it early. But we are launching officially next Tuesday. So I'm going to give Azalea, I see it. Poppies, I see it. Another rose request. So we're going to give away a copy of Mixed Media Adventures. Let me show you what my new book looks like. Got to grab her off the shelf. Do I have her? Where did she go? There she is. We're going to go ahead and give away a copy. Kelly's going to have to manage that. Thank you, Kelly. I'm sorry to be a pain in your butt. It is a paint-in book. This is mixed media paper in here. You're going to be able to do all sorts of things. So it's kind of like my take. It's like a non-coloring book. So you're going to do the opposite. Instead of coloring in, you're going to doodle on these pages. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't actually use the word because that word has been like trademarked. But y'all know what this book is about. So I'm going to give away a copy. We've got another poppy request. So let's do birthdays. Whoever has a birthday closest to today, start calling them out. I'm going to paint a little bit more on this one while Kelly figures out who the winner is. And I say go. I say go. So whoever has a birthday closest to today, you need to comment so Kelly can see it. And I'm searching desperately for a marker because I have an idea about how to finish this one. That's what I'm looking for. Telling y'all, this is like a serious mixed media situation here. Look at what I'm doing. I'm going in and then I'm smudging down. Oh yeah, look at that. So exciting. Go a little bit of black, clean finger, smudge down. Did I just blow your mind? I hope I did. Clean finger, smudge down. And We just keep layering in the beauty. Keep it going. Oh, and look at that, starting to pop. We got birthday closest to today. We are going to mail you a copy of my new book. This is open to anyone. I don't care where you live. I always hate that when there's giveaways and it's like domestic only, US only. I mean, I know it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to send it to someone somewhere not in the US, but hey, you know what? Doing a giveaway, let's do it right, huh? Oh, look at that. And then I'm going to add some dotty texture coming out. And remember, these are all going to be sealed. I have ornaments like this that I painted a decade ago on my tree because I was doing this long before I actually sold them. And they are perfection. Kelly, how we doing with that birthday count? Birthday closest to today is going to win a copy of my new book. And friends, just so you know, I'm kind of revamping next Tuesday's live because remember, I'm going live for 2 weeks, almost every day except for Sundays and Thanksgiving Day. I'm going to be here live with you for at least an hour. We're going to just be doing it up watercolor style. Next Tuesday is going to be a book launch celebration. I was originally going to do something else and I'm like, wait a minute, I can't do something else on a book launch day. What am I, crazy? So we are going to be having a book party celebration. Friends, if you are Team Replay, you're going to want to watch that. Even though you won't be live, it's going to be fun. You're going to learn how, you know, mixed media works and how to approach mixed media. We're going to be doing all the mixed media things. So definitely want to check that out. Get that on your calendar. That'll be next Tuesday at noon. This is Kuratake's. I will put a link in the description. It's definitely Kuratake, and it's the pen. It looks like the bamboo pens. It kind of supposed to mimic that. So I will get that in the links after the live is complete. So I do believe I already have it in my Amazon favorite shop. So if Kelly wants to pop up that link, I think it's already in there. So basically, like, I'm kind of like backfilling with this dark pen to start to pop out even more depth and dimension. Isn't that fun? I find this kind of, whether it's with a pen, whether it's with just more watercolor, dark watercolor, to be so incredibly satisfying. And see, friends, I pay attention to details. I'm going right over the edge and doing some really fun stuff right up to this edge and then working it back with some textury bits and whatnot. It's so fun. Little watercolor journey right on over the edge. So fun. So yeah, this brush, I have a whole video on these markers, these brush pens. Kelly, if you want to find that, they're from like 3 weeks ago. You could put them in links. Yes. And I am going to be revamping that schedule. I've had to change a few times. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be going live at 10 a.m., not noon, friends. Tomorrow, it's 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, I'm going to put her to the side. Let that layer dry. I think I started talking about this before. Friends, that QR code to my Amazon favorites, all the supplies I use, that's your code right up on the screen there. I do get a little bit of a cut from any purchase you do make through that link, just full transparency. But nothing's marked up or anything like that. So, all right. So I started talking about this layering, whether you're working on paper or wood or some other surface, letting some dry time in between your layers is important. Oil painters, for example. Bobby's the winner. Yay. Bobby wins the book. Woohoo, Bobby. Kelly will get everything straightened out for you. Oil painters, especially, they kind of developed the technique of glazing started with oil painters because oil literally has to like cure and it has to develop like a film over the surface before you can continue adding more crisp details, right? And so the idea of glazing was, okay, like paint your first layer, let it cure for goodness, weeks sometimes, just so that first layer, that film develops, so then you can add more. So watercolors kind of borrowed that idea, and we call it also glazing. I'm going to put this over here. And so the idea that you let watercolor, even though it's water-based and it dries quickly, the idea that you let that cure actually helps you not disturb the layers underneath. Yeah. Bobby, you're going to email your shipping address to hello@christyrice.com. And attention, Kristen, if you could. And that's it. That's all you need to do. All right, let's do a rose. I saw a couple roses. I'm still sticking to my 1/4-inch dagger, friends. I'm just going to start with a little red. I'm going to go off center, right? Being mindful of where my hole is. And friends, I am going to go over time today because I want to show you one of the ribbons and how I watercolor the ribbon. We're just going to start the first layer of this one. All right, so making some C curves and letting them kind of go around one another, laid like bricks. So they're overlapping each other on kind of like offset. You don't want to lay those C curves on top of each other like that, like butting up to one another. You also don't want to lay them like this. So let me go over to the paper and show you what I mean. So C curve, this is your center. C curve, see how they're overlapping? C curve. And as you go out, this is my particular style, you press harder. You can add water. Press harder and add water. All right? Make them thicker. And that is very basic approach to modern loose watercolor roses. So that's that. A little bit of white, a little bit of that gesso on there, and let's get into it. Get some of that mixing up. So the gesso right now and the watercolor is mixing. My palette is dry, so she needs another little spritz. Another little spritz. Remember, friends, ornaments going to be available for purchase starting around dinner time this evening, Eastern time. I'm going right off the edge with this rose, and I'm reserving the darkness, the intensity for the center of this rose, right? And I'm keeping it light and airy. I've got some water on my brush, and I'm just pressing and wiggling, pressing and wiggling. There we go. Oh, I like her. Going in, didn't even rinse my brush, y'all. Didn't even rinse my brush. Press really hard, curve, and lift as you get towards your rose. Let's do another one. Leave a space in between. Press, curve, lift, and then fill that in so it's not such an awkward space, right? All right, little bit of the green and a little bit of that purple on my brush. Let's go up here and do skinny leaf. Press, drag, lift. I did a downstroke. Let's do an upstroke. Press, drag, curve, and lift. Oh, so pretty. Oh, I love her. I love her. Why do I use gesso and not gouache? I like the coverage of gesso so much. Kelly, I have a gesso video. If you could find it, she's going to kill me, y'all. She's going to kill me. I think the title of it is something about never having to buy gouache. If you could find that and pop that up, if you can't, I will go ahead and add it in the description later on after the live is through. But I just really love the coverage of gesso. I find it to be just more intense and powerful. So yeah. Oh, I really like this rose. Gosh, I find it very difficult to part with these beauties. I do. I do. See, everybody thinks the this is an iris. Maybe I need to call it an iris because it's actually a pansy. But I said earlier that it was like a pansy iris hybrid. And it is. See? I love it. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I'm kind of in love with this rose. So much. Then I know, sometimes I know myself. I'm going to let this, I'm going to put her over here. I'm going to let her sit. I'm going to let her sit. And I'm going to do a little blending here, friends. And this is something you can do on paper as well. This got a little weird here. So I'm going to dab in some water. You probably can't see it, but I dabbed in some water here. I'm going to let it sit for a few seconds. And then I'm going to start to lightly, in circular motions, kind of blend, blend, blend. And look at that. Look at how beautifully that blended. Gorgeous. I love that. I'm going to do a little bit of that here. And actually extend the shape of this bottommost petal into overlapping this petal here. And then I'm going to blend here as well. This is what I love about watercolor. Don't think of like lifting and blending only as ways. Okay, let me ask, who was taught that the lifting technique was a way to correct errors? Who was taught that? I want to know, because I want to shake that out of you. Of course, lifting is definitely a wonderful way of correcting errors that happen, but it also is a technique for creating some of the most gorgeous textures that you could ever imagine. Look at all of that. I didn't completely remove the texture and the linear detail that I added, but I blended it and softened it, and I'm pleased with that result. So think of lifting not only as a way to correct errors, but as a way to create some lovely textures. Gorgeous. Isn't that fun? Okay, so the question was, what do I use to seal the ornaments? And it is a matte finish, like a polyurethane type of sealant. We've done all sorts of testing on it. And it basically, like, you could literally wash the ornaments, not that you would, but you know, if they get dusty, you could lightly wipe them off with a not like a piece of cloth that wouldn't pill or add more dust to it. So they're very resilient, very resilient. All right, I'm going to go in here and add another layer to this really light leaf. I just want to add some darkness to most of the leaf and kind of make it look like it's curling up there on the edge. So I'm going to add some darkness where that light edge meets. See that? So pretty. I want to blend a little, so add some water and blend it out. I'm going to go up here. This one's still too light. I've been adding layers of color, but I still feel like she's too light, so I'm going to add some more. And remember, friends, I will be finishing these ornaments after the live, adding all the final touches, and they will be made available for sale. Kelly can go ahead and pop up that link. Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how I, every ornament comes with hand watercolored ribbon. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hand watercolor the ribbon for one of these bad boys and show you how we do that. And this is a silk ribbon. Love this. And here we go. I'm going to use a bigger brush this time. I'm going to go ahead and use my 3/4 inch flat wash brush. This is an imperfect process. Look how it's already it's picking up the watercolor from the rose. I love that. And we're just going to go in and we're going to start painting the ribbon. It's very unruly. It does what it wants to do, but I'm okay with that. Water and blend it out. Keep blending. I love this. It's going to pick up some color from that rose underneath. I love, dip dyed ribbon is one thing, but hand watercolored ribbon has such character because it's being brushed on, and I love it so much. Sometimes I will literally grab the ribbon in my hand. I know y'all think I'm crazy. And I will do something like this. It's incredibly, I know you're all thinking like, Christy, those pigments have stuff in them. That's not good for your hands. I know. But look at what happens. Some of the most interesting, unexpected moments happen. And the end of this ribbon is super intense. I love watercoloring ribbon. Look at that. So pretty. You could even let that ribbon sit in the small little pile like that. Y'all know what I'm going to do. You could spatter onto your ribbon a little bit of that smoky purple, but let it lie. See what it does. Don't try to manipulate it too much. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. See? Such pretty things happen. And that's how we dye this ribbon, and this ribbon will be dried. And then in the photos, when I post these for sale this evening, you will see what ribbon I paired with what ornament. And of course, I think this one's probably going to go with this one. Definitely. And put her off to the side. All right, friends. Yay. Yeah. Oh, stamping ink to dye the ribbon. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Kelly, let's go ahead and put up that link for the holiday shop where they can grab the ornaments later today. Friends, don't forget the calendar. But ultimately, what I don't want you to forget is making art for joy's sake. Any season of your life where things are crazy, and I mean, when is it not crazy? Let's just get cut right to the chase, right? But I am here because I truly believe in the power that watercolor holds for us to really harness the power of joy whenever we need or want it. I'm going in and blending out all those marker moments into the blue. Watercolor gives you unshakable joy. I talk about unshakable joy. And what does that mean? Unshakable joy is the kind of joy that no matter what is going on in your life, and I'm no doctor, I'm not, I'm not prescribing, I'm not saying I can treat your ailments, but I can say that whatever's going on in your life, if you can find ways to harness joy, despite the crazy, despite the bad circumstance, if you can find that joy, and I found it through watercolor, and that's why I'm here teaching you, because I want you to be able to harness that joy whenever the heck you want it. And that's ultimately why I'm here. That's ultimately why I do what I do with my team. That's ultimately why I love weddings, why I love watercolor, why I love paper and stationery, because it's just another way to get art and joy out into the world. And so I'm so honored that you've been here with me today. I cannot wait to paint with you tomorrow. And for those team replay, so glad you're here as well. And please remember to pop your questions into the comment section, because we are here for you, and we will be here to answer all those questions after this live is through. All right, friends, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. Thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing rest of your day. And until I see you next time, you know what I'm going to say. Happy painting.